So I had some contemplation of thoughts and ideas. I used like Chat GPT to extrapolate certain things. Kind of like talking to like another pure intellectual device. It has no emotional intelligence, but I basically said like, is it possible that two people can transmit a certain feeling? You know, um, yeah, can two people transmit a certain feeling? I first did this through the idea of crushes that you have in school, where you will not even make any verbal or even really physical idea that you have a crush, but inside your mind and your heart, you're starting to grow like a love for the person. Nah, not it doesn't have to be real, but you're starting to get this positive vibration going. And I don't know the depths of this, but I had times where I'm not. It just happens naturally. Like it just happens through probably your subconscious mind being interested in a particular person, like particular type of your type, you can call it. And I have times where I'd feel the emotions of love for the person, and then I'd just completely forget about it. But then that person will later on be interested in me without me really even talking or trying to get to know them or do anything to them. Something they picked up on, like I didn't even try to initiate anything, but sometimes through the eye contact, not even through the eye contact, but just through the emotion, it begins to happen in a weird way. It like the shit kind of begins to happen, bro, where they start to be interested in you. Now it's like they feel the same vibration. Sometimes it doesn't work, but I think it works every time you have the intense emotion of love for the person. It works. I've had times where it's fucking weird. Like I had times where I had an intense emotion for somebody. It was so intense it wasn't even funny. Well, at first I just had intense emotions in general, and then I didn't know what was happening, so I just directed it towards somebody. I consciously chose to direct it to somebody, and I sent it out, not knowing if anything was gonna happen. And then like 2 3 days later, I'm pretty sure, I'm 99%, I'm like 95% sure that I was just working out in the gym, and that person just walked in my gym. It's a small little neighborhood gym. Walked in my gym, took a lap around the gym, and then left while looking like while they were leaving. They were just looking at me the entire time, and I just ignored it. Very fucking weird, like kind of like a dream character that you're in your head and you're like dreaming and like the dream character do their own thing, type of thing. It was kind of like that, and I didn't say anything or do anything. I probably if I did or say it probably if I did say or do anything, something would have come out of that. But it's just things like that. So where I'm not even trying to pursue the shit, right? Like emotions come up and you just let them go, you know. So I first started with that conversation, and then I extrapolated into the idea that everything is made from thoughts and emotions, and that certain people who are aligned, who project and beam out on a regular daily basis certain thoughts, emotions, and vibrations, they are aligned in a specific vibrational field on Earth. For example, like the actors, the A-list actors, these guys are vibrating a particular field of I'm an A-list actor, I do movies, I work here, I'm around red carpets, I'm around these events. It's just an inner state of being within themselves. Like I'm pretty sure a story like Jenna Ortega, like in an interview I saw, that when she wanted to be an actor or an actress, if you want to call it, she was a little kid and she told her parents that she wanted to be an actor, and like she like cried on command, and she was kind of just embodying the vibration of being the actor. And things started to work in her favor, right? Like her mother declined it at first, but then things started to work in her favor. She got her agent or whatever and started booking commercials, and then eventually it compounded into something bigger, all because of like a little state of being saying in her heart that she wanted to be one, and she felt that she was one, and she cried on command. Who can predict something like that? You can't consciously predict it. But just like it was unconsciously created, can you consciously create it? I think you can, but that's up for somebody to experiment with their own mind and their own being. You have to experiment with it first. But yeah, the A-list actors, they're vibrating at a particular frequency, And so they be around each other, obviously. The musicians, the actors, the businessmen, everybody in their subset category are vibrating the same things. And so they're around each other. Now, what in my hypothetical was, what if somebody were to just vibrate the feeling of being the thing before anything ever happened? They just vibrated the feeling of being the person that in that particular subset category. For example, A-list actor. If somebody vibrated the feeling of being a happy, joyful A-list actor with a sense of humor, whatever, random, they just vibrated that and they felt the reality of it, so real as a person who's actually doing big movies and is actually there. They felt it just as real as them, if not more joyful and more real, because they're consciously creating it. And it got to the point where they're sustaining it, and you no longer need to pull a throttle of I am this. It's just now constantly reverberating within themselves. But they took no action. Now, ChatGPT said you might get subtle changes in your environment where things might present themselves, but if you don't actually express those things within you, then nothing will happen. It said you move towards a sense of enlightenment where you have mastery over the inner world in that particular regard, which makes a lot of sense. And I left a counter argument or an additional argument saying, yeah, but if somebody never believes that they could do something and they try to do it, they'll never do it anyways. They'll constantly be, and ChatGPT says you're right, they'll constantly be sabotaging themselves, not allowing themselves to go all in. Let me pause because the train's coming. Like I was saying, the person would be constantly sabotaging themselves. The person who doesn't, in their heart, believe that they are the thing already will constantly add hurdles and excuses and sabotage themselves subconsciously. Their inner state will start to diminish, and they won't go all in. They won't throw themselves into the thing that they want to do with full, intention. They'll be closed off, and the world will notice that, and the universe will pick up on that, and it will continue to give it what it's putting out, which is the idea that it wants to be an A-list actor, that it wants to do big movies, but it has a fear, and it will never, that it doesn't believe that it can do it or that it is it. And so every action that it does is half-ass, and you get half-ass results according to the exact degree on the way you do the thing. So, and I gave another argument versus the person who really believes that they are the thing already before it ever even happened, right? When they actually go ahead and perform an action that is needed, right? They do that action with full intention and full involvement. And what would take the person who doesn't believe 10 years will take the person who does believe months, a couple months. They can do exactly what the person who doesn't believe, who constantly puts hurdles in their own way and sabotages themselves on a daily basis because they don't really believe in themselves and they half-ass everything. That person doesn't believe. It'll take them about 10 years to even get to the point of progressive realization of the belief that they could do it. And then they start moving in the direction. But the person who already believes already begins to move in the direction of the thing. Everything they do is now a flow. It has fluidity and it has authenticity, and there's no counter intentions in their actions. This is not like, oh, where you are right now with your identity now, you just go ahead and you do the thing that you want to do and you're going to go ahead and do it. No, because you'll notice that if you go do it, there's going to be things popping up in your head telling you that you can't do it and that you're a loser and you're not good enough, because you're going to look at the outside world, you're going to hear yourself, you're going to see the way you act, you're going to judge everything. You're not going to allow yourself to flow. And so the point is getting your identity, your self-identity, your self-image, whatever people want to call it, name you want to give it, to the point where you know you're the thing already. Whether you're a businessman who's just a multimillionaire and he's rich, if that's what you want to be that. No matter what job endeavor, it doesn't matter. You don't have to pick one. If you want to do that, vibrate that. If you want to be the actor, vibrate that. If you want to be the musician, vibrate that. If you want to be anything that you specifically want to be, vibrate that. And the vibration has to get to the point where it's sustained and it doesn't need any more flowers. It's like when you plant a tree, you keep planting, you keep putting the water, the sunlight, and then to a point where the tree just has its own thing and it uses the resources from the nature. That's essentially what you have to do with the identity. The identity, you water it, you give it sunlight, and you keep doing that, and then the tree will grow, and then the water and the sunlight comes from the results that you're receiving, you know, comes from the subconscious pushing the rain out that you need, right? That's when it gets to the subconscious, when it gets to the constant state, where if you do something and you mess up, it doesn't change your self-image that you know that you're the A-list actor already, or whatever it is that you want to be doing. This is the point that you have to get to. It's an experiment, and how long it changes depends on the degree and intensity of at which you change within yourself. And I do believe that the more positive emotion, the more explosion of emotion that you have within your heart, the more it envelops and buzzes through your entire body, the in a sustained way where you're not counter intention and you're not second guessing what this is. You're just allowing it to happen. The more you have that, and the more that is sustained, the faster, the more magical it is. It's if you do a slow slimmer of joy, then it would be that likeness. But if you do an explosive excitement of joy through your whole body, then that speed is there as well. This is my theory. And all in all, if you can actually get to the point where you feel like you're accomplished already within yourself, that is the fulfillment. You are fulfilled already. But also your expression becomes that expression. Because if you go ahead and you do a thing, you're not doing it from the person who, oh, I'm just pretending to be this thing. No, you're doing it from the person who really knows themselves to be this thing. And that's what I have to say. It's an experiment. It's something to try.